Everybody, please take your seats. Everybody, please take your seats. I'm Mark Feldman, your humble host. Before I get started, I'd like to ask everybody, please, put your phone on silence. Now, I do not want to hear any phones while we're doing this. Thank you all very, very much. On behalf of the Association of Americans and Canadians in Israel, AACI, it is my privilege to welcome you to this solemn ceremony, held in honor of the fallen from our North American community here at the AACI Memorial Site in the Yitzhak Rabin Forest. For more than half a century, AACI has remained committed to honoring individuals with ties to North America who have either tragically fallen victim to acts of terror or served the state of Israel with unwavering courage in the Israel Defense Forces. Since before the founding of the State of Israel in 1948 until October 6, 2023, more than 360 Americans and Canadians have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to Israel. Tragically, since October 7th, our day of infamy, 85 additional names have been added to this list, including 8 this year, all now engraved on the AACI Wall of Remembrance. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the families and friends of the fallen who have joined us this evening. We are one. This ceremony is being broadcast live, and we thank you all for your presence, both here in person and from afar. Your participation is deeply appreciated. We are honored to be joined by our esteemed guests, families of the fallen, the United States Ambassador to Israel, His Excellency, Mr. Mike Huckabee, Canadian Ambassador, to Israel, Her Excellency, Leslie Scanlon, Mr. David London, the CEO of AACI, Rabbi Shai Finkelstein, Rav of Nitzanim Shul in Jerusalem, Mr. Yaakov Hagoel, Chairman of the World Zionist Organization, Mr. Michael Ben Abu of Keren Kayemet LeIsrael, and other distinguished guests. Tonight, we will hear from several families as we come together to remember and honor their loved ones. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. As we gather here tonight, let us pay tribute to these remarkable individuals. Let us draw inspiration from their legacy of courage, and let us be inspired by their dedication to the values we hold so dear. At this time, I'd like to invite AACI board members Miriam Barth and Lori Sloman to light our memorial torch in memory of all of those who fell defending the State of Israel, and to those who were victims of terror. To start our program tonight, I'd like to ask David London, the CEO of AACI.
The day will come when your life will flash before your eyes. Be sure it will be worth watching. As said by Nadav Noller, Zichron Levracha, who fell in Gaza on July 1st, 2024. His name is one of the 8 names added to our memorial site today. We are gathered here today to remember and honor the fallen of our community and if possible, bring some small solace to the families. On behalf of AACI, the Association of Americans and Canadians in Israel, we thank you for attending. I would especially like to recognize the U.S. Ambassador, the two brand new ambassadors, the U.S. Ambassador, Mr. Mike Huckabee, Canadian Ambassador, Miss Leslie Scanlon, Mr. Michael Ben Abu from Kakao, Mr. Yaakov Hagoel, Chairman of the WZO, Rabbi Shai Finkelstein, Rav of Kehilat Nitzanim, and AACI's Board of Directors, and most especially the families of the fallen. Nadav's motto, in some ways, is the story of all Western Olim immigrants. These Olim made Aliyah, moved to Israel, not because they were living under despotic regimes, but because Israel is the homeland of the Jewish people. They came to Israel to build a Jewish and democratic homeland that would work with the nations of the world for the betterment of the Jewish people and the entire world. Nadav, watching the world since October 7th, it seems that the world is beyond redemption. Yet the unwavering courage and dedication of you and your generation, your commitment to family, community, country, and faith, remind us all that there's still meaning to be found. We all watch and learn every day from the tremendous sacrifices you all have made. In this solemn period between Yom HaShoah and Yom HaZikaron, we mourn the Jewish martyrs murdered in the Shoah and those who lost fighting for the Jewish people and our homeland. We, the Jewish people, will never have sufficient words or actions to remember and honor these martyrs. As much as we try, we will never be able to help the families fully with their losses. Today, AACI honors those brave men and women from North America and victims of terror and who are part of the AACI family. Some refer to Olim, immigrants from Western countries, as Olim of choice. True, we are from the West and had a choice to make or not make Aliyah. But I personally believe that we had no real choice. As the planets circle the sun, so do the Jewish people circle Israel. Jews anywhere in the diaspora are part of a family, a worldwide Jewish community that binds us. Wherever they are located, Israel is also their homes. In addition to helping English speakers settle, stay, and thrive in Israel, AACI is now working actively to connect the Jewish world to Israel with two outstanding programs. AACI Student Connect pairs Israeli and international Jewish students to build one-on-one relationships. We match students in Israel with students abroad by their field of studies. They have one-on-one guided conversations by Zoom about Jewish identity, anti-Semitism, and involvement in their local Jewish community. This new program, now in partnership with Jaffe, has over 800 participants from 60 countries worldwide participating. Today, these efforts on university campuses are needed much, much more. When an Israeli student can share their knowledge or experiences since October 7th with his Jewish counterpart overseas, it's a very personal level. That student will carry it forward. For example, the Israeli medical student who dropped everything to fight and defend Israel, or the Canadian student who shares how they deal with blatant anti-Semitism on campus. They will both be strengthened. These one-on-one meetings build friendships and real relationships that will secure a better and more united Jewish world. The second major initiative is AACI Remembers, which is why we are all here today. AACI Remembers brings the stories of our fallen heroes to the entire Jewish world by sharing their stories on our website dedicated to their memory. Today, AACI honors those brave men and women from North America and victims of terror and who are part of the AACI family. I think I read that before. Sorry. The address of our website, AACI Remembers, is to your right. These stories of valor and love of Israel create a deeper and stronger connection between the diaspora and Israel and serve as a poignant reminder of sacrifice and courage. From the Battle of Tel Hai in 1920 until October 6th, there were 360 names on the AACI Memorial Wall. Since then, with immense sorrow, 85 people have been added, including 8 from this past year. We are grateful and proud of our soldiers and pray for their safety and the full recovery of our injured, as we also pray fervently for the return of all 59 hostages and for a united and safe Israel. While we have worked diligently to collect names and information on the fallen, I want to take this moment to apologize if we missed anyone or made any mistakes. If you have any additional information, please contact us. As I close, I would like to offer my personal condolences to each and every family, and I would like to challenge us all with the end of Nadav's quote. Be sure it will be worth watching. Let's all of us find meaningful ways to help ourselves, our families, each other, Israel, the Jewish people, and the world, as to make our actions worth watching.
Thank you, David. I also want to thank your staff and all of the volunteers at AACI who put in countless hours in helping AACI achieve its goals and remembering. AACI is an organization like none I've ever been connected with, okay? It's done with love, and this is shown by the staff and by the volunteers. I'd like to invite David Lubin, father of Rose Lubin, Zichron Lebracha, to say a few words. Please, David.
Rose was a warrior and a humanitarian. She was able to live her life being both at the same time. She was the girl with pink hair wearing spandex who was Shomer Shabbos. She was a varsity wrestler on the boys wrestling team and the varsity cheerleading team. Rose was magical. If you met her for even a moment, you never forgot her. She had a way about her that you knew she was special, but she made you feel special. She made people want to do better and be better. She inspired people to care about themselves. It was such a unique quality that it's hard to explain. Rose first visited Israel with her Zadie when she was 5 years old. Immediately, she loved it with all her heart and even refused to board the plane home until we promised her another trip. I made good on that promise when she turned 8. It was after that trip that I noticed Rose explaining to other children that they could be friends, but when she turned 18, she was moving to Israel to join the IDF. True to her word, at 18, she left Atlanta to join the Army. She qualified as a combat soldier in Magav and guarded the Muslim quarter of the Old City. She was a decorated soldier who received multiple awards for acts of bravery and excellence. While off duty, on October 7th, she was at her home, Kibbutz Sa'ad, when it was attacked by Hamas. Rose was notified that the Kibbutz security force needed support. She immediately volunteered, even after being warned that she may not survive the day. She did not hesitate, and she spent 12 hours guarding the gates, landing helicopters, and bringing people to safety. A large percentage of those she brought to safety came from the Nova Music Festival. Rose was a hero and saved lives on October 7th. The next day, she returned to base and would not take time off. She said her unit needed her, and she would not fail them. A month later, on November 6, while on duty, Rose was attacked by a 16-year-old terrorist and died from wounds she sustained from the attack. This was and will continue to be the most painful day for our family. We will never be the same. But not being the same is not always a bad thing. Rose's life and death have opened our eyes and the world to who she was and what she stood for. Rose was for peace, not violence. Rose believed and lived her life unifying people And now, even in her death, she still continues to unify people. Rose has inspired people around the world to write music, plant gardens, donate classrooms, do mitzvahs, give tzedakah, pray, love Israel, connect with their spirituality, donate Torahs, create scholarships, donate ambulances, and even name babies after her. Rose said in her bat mitzvah speech, "There will be a time when I am not existent in this world. So what do I do about it? I work hard, do my best, and follow the laws that God has instructed me to follow. I am not going to wait for the world to do something great for me. I am going to do something great for the world." My dear Rose, through service and sacrifice, you did something great for the world. Thank you.
I don't even have words to say, okay? I want to invite David, father of Rose Lubin, Zichron Levracha, and Dan Sivan, father of Lior Sivan, Zichron Levracha, to unveil the memorial wall and additional names. Dan Sivan and his family are currently hosting a project to dedicate a Torah in his memory. Please see www.lior-sivan.com. Donations are tax deductible in Israel and the USA. Come up, follow, go or walk on the stone. Again, as David mentioned, I want to reiterate, we know there are still names that are missing. We know there are stories that have not been told. Please share them. Let your friends and family know that if there's more stories that we need to know, please send us the information. It's vital. Now I am privileged to invite His Excellency, Ambassador Mike Huckabee. This is a person that you've all known and read about, who probably, factually speaking, has made more trips to this country than everybody sitting in this audience. The United States Ambassador, we thank the United States government and the people of the United States for their vital support and staunch commitment to the State of Israel. Ambassador, will you please say a few words?
I want to say more than anything else today to David, thank you. Thank you for sharing Rose's story, her courage, her inspiration. I did not realize when I was visiting with David before the ceremony today that he and I actually have quite the connection. David was born in my home state of Arkansas, in a little town you've never heard of. I was also born in the little town in Arkansas you've never heard of. Opposite ends of the state, but we have a connection with the land. But more importantly, we have a connection with this land. and because of Rose's remarkable moment of courage. Her life that lives on is one that we commemorate today. We don't celebrate what happened to her, but we celebrate a life well lived. That she died so young is hurtful and painful, but the fact that she lived so much in that short period of time is nothing short of an amazing life story. If most of us lived several lifetimes, we would not be able to be remembered in the same way as Rose is being remembered today. I'm deeply grateful for all of you who have come, representing both the United States and Canada, and for those whose hearts are broken because you represent a family that has had the most horrible thing happen. Your loved one gave a life to save the lives of others. It's a special honor today to share the time with the Canadian Ambassador Leslie Scanlon. Formally, we call each other Ambassador, but we've been at several events in our short time here in Israel. And privately, we're just Leslie and Mike. Her warmth exudes from her vivacious personality. When I see her, I find myself saying, I'm glad that she's here too, and I'm also glad that you're my North American neighbor, and I feel an extraordinary sense of kinship with you, Ambassador Leslie. No less than 46 American citizens have been murdered as a result of the Hamas atrocities of October the 7th. 23 dual national American Israelis have fallen in combat since October 7th. Today we recognize 8 individuals who are being added to the memorial wall. I'll simply say today that while I cherish the opportunity to be here acknowledging and honoring those 8, I pray that this time next year that the ambassador from Canada and I can come with a different reason and purpose, that we come to celebrate that there are no new names to be added to the wall. Let today be the last day that a name must be added, and we will all be grateful to God for the lives spared. But for those 8 names, we are grateful to God for those whose lives were spared by these whose names are etched forever in this wall to remember them. Let us never forget them. Let us never forget their sacrifice. But let us never forget the extraordinary, immense pain of their families, who also gave up more than most of us will ever be able to comprehend. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Ambassador Huckabee. I could hear you speak for hours. The Canadian ambassador, as the ambassador mentioned so clearly, is very close to me. Unlike being a neighbor, my mother is Canadian, from a small province called Manitoba. I'm an American born in Los Angeles, so I get the best of both worlds. Because of the federal elections tomorrow, the ambassador cannot speak. She is sending her warm greetings to us, okay, her love to us. You can stand, Leslie, as my, okay. Canada has long been a valued partner and friend, sharing in our democratic value and a commitment to peace and prosperity in the region. We are all together. I now want to invite the following people to please lay wreaths at the Memorial Wall. Ambassador Mike Huckabee, representing the United States. Ambassador Leslie Scanlon, representing Canada. Mr. Yaakov Hagoel, Chair of the World Zionist Organization, representing WZO. And finally, on behalf of AACI, I spoke about volunteers. No one represents us better than Mr. Julie Landau, former president of AACI and father of Yair Landau, Zichron Lebracha, who fell in Lebanon in 1982. Chevre, make no mistake. Today I'm Rose. Today I'm Lior. Today I'm Nadav. Today I'm Yair. And I'm damn well Hirsch. Please draw your attention to the screen for a message from Rachel Goldberg-Polin, mother of Hirsch Goldberg-Polin, Zichron Lebracha.
My name is Rachel, and there's something very special and poignant about this time of year, every year, Yom HaZikaron, especially for those of us in our community, the North American community, people who have made the choice to come and bind our faith and our fate with Israel. And we are now also Israeli. And today is one of those days where we are grateful and remembering so many people who have valiantly and bravely given their lives for this country in all different ways. And it's just a moment for us to pause and recognize that we are lucky and blessed to be part of this community. And I wish for all of us better days ahead and good news now than now.
I'd like to invite Michael Ben Abu from Keren Kayemet LeIsrael to give his greetings. Michael?
Dear families of the fallen, Your Excellencies, Ambassador of Canada to Israel, Leslie Scanlon, Ambassador of the United States of America, Mike Huckabee, members of AACI and Keren Kayemet Israel, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, Shalom. It is my honor and privilege once more, as in every year over the last 22 years, to greet you on behalf of the Jewish National Fund, Keren Kayemet Israel, here in the Judean Hills, in this historic place on the road to Jerusalem, that symbolizes the heroic Jewish striving and struggle to pave our way to Jerusalem. In 2003, we met here, AACI and KKL-JNF staff, to renovate and to upgrade this memorial site with the support of JNF USA. Unfortunately, we have been adding new names of the fallen almost every year, and more so since October 7th. Today we are gathered here safely in the forest, not only because of the fallen and the soldiers that gave their lives, but because of all these new Holim that came from all over the world to create the State of Israel. We are also gathered here safely because, due to the great courageous work of our foresters that were fighting the big fires caused by the heat wave last Wednesday, just a few kilometers away from here. In the last year and a half, KKL-JNF was fighting fire caused by the missiles in the south, in the north, and restoring fire-damaged forest, including the Nova forest near Be'eri. KKL was the first organization to provide emergency funds to the regional councils affected by October 7th, and still supporting those communities by building the new sites for the kibbutzim in the south, funding trauma therapy for the October 7th survivors and evacuees, etc. Last year, we yearned and prayed for the return of the abducted ones from Gaza, and thanks to our great allies, it came into reality. Yet we are still calling for the release of the 59 men and women that must come home at once now. Please permit me to read the last part of my poem that I read here last year, as it is still, unfortunately, very relevant. Shema Israel, hear, O Israel, the cry of your abducted ones. The days go by, each day passes. Our captive women and men, O God, what will become of their physical and mental health? How can we bear this? And what shall we do? For how long? Until when? We entreat you, Lord, please, please hear our plea. Thank you very much.
We have to add, for those that don't know, Keren Kayemet, aside from what they do for the entire state, maintains this for AACI, and we thank him very, very much. We are now honored to welcome our keynote speaker. Rabbi Shai Finkelstein is the rabbi of Kehilat Nitzanim in Jerusalem and editor-in-chief of the Koren Mikrot Hadarot project. He previously served as senior rabbi of Baron Hirsch Synagogue in Memphis. You see, Ambassador, we're all connected to southern U.S. He holds degrees in Talmud and business from Bar-Ilan University and the University of Memphis. He is married to Bila, and they have 4 children. Rav Shai?
On this afternoon, we pause to remember the heroes, the fallen soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces, and the victims of terror attacks. We stand here in solemn and solidarity with them and with their families. In our tradition, we often speak about Brit Avot, the covenant with our forefathers, the covenant that God forged with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob, in that order. However, in the book of Vayikra, in the book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 42, the Torah presents this covenant in a different order. And the Torah says, וזכרתי את בריתי יעקב ואף את בריתי יצחק ואף את בריתי אברהם אזכור והארץ אזכור, which means, and I shall remember the covenant with Jacob, I will also remember my covenant with Isaac, I will also remember my covenant with Abraham, and I will remember the land. And you cannot not ask yourself a question. What is the reason? What is the reason for the reversed order? Why not to start with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob like we used to? Why to start with Jacob, then Isaac, and then Abraham? In order to understand it, I think we all need to understand that the covenant with each father was demonstrated in a different way. Abraham endured many trials and tribulations until he became Nesi Elokim Ata Betochenu, which means you are the Prince of God among us. Isaac, he was bound upon the altar, was willing to give his life, and yet he chose to follow Abraham's mission and legacy, digging once again the same wells, the same be'erot that Abraham had dug. And Jacob wandered, was exiled, almost destroyed, yet he was able to witness through his children the beginning of redemption. The covenant with our forefathers is not just a memory. It's a life. It's unfolding in front of our eyes in this miracle and the story which we call the modern state of Israel, Medinat Israel. And this story began first with Jacob, then Isaac, and then Abraham, and I will explain. The first stage of our story, returning back to our homeland, began with Jacob, with the covenant with Jacob, breaking free of the mindset of slavery, shaking off this exiled Jacob, and returning back to what is ours, to our homeland. Then the second stage is Isaac, a time marked by tens of thousands of soldiers, men and women, who gave their lives for God, for the nation, and for the land. So many families here, and David, we have another connection. The Lubin family has a very strong presence in Memphis. So many families here have lived the unspoken command, קח נא את בנך או את בתך היחידה אשר אהבת, ואעלהו לעולה. Take now your son, your only son, whom you love, and offer him up. And yet, despite the heartbreak, they continue to dig the wells. They continue to build, they continue to believe, they continue to belong. At this point, I would like to digress for a second and share with you a very powerful midrash, a traditional Jewish teaching that speaks directly of the meaning of the sacrifices that we honor tonight. The midrash in Yalkut Shimoni on Psalms try to understand the verse in Psalms in chapter 20. Ya'ancha Hashem beyom tzara, which means, may the Lord answer you on the day of trouble. At first, this may be troubling. Why does God answer us only at the day of trouble, after the suffering has arrived. Why not just to prevent the pain, the tribulations, and the suffering entirely? And the Midrash offers a mashal, a parable. To what can this be compared? To a father and son walking along the road. The son grows weary and he says to his father, Abba, Father, where is the city? And the father replies, my son, I will give you a sign. When you see a cemetery ahead, the city is near. And so the prophet says to Israel, if you see troubles covering you, your redemption is near. As it is written, Ya'ancha Hashem beyom tzara. Hashem will answer you on the day of trouble. In this parable, the father and the son are not just family. They are the symbol that represents the strong relationship between the generations, walking together along the same difficult road. The son, the younger generation, grows tired and he asks his father, Abba, matay magiim? We all know that question. When we drive and the children are asking, Abba, matay magiim? When do we arrive? And the father does not answer directly. He gives a sign. My son, if you see a cemetery, the city is near. This simple answer carries profound meaning. We know in ancient times, but also in current times, cemeteries are located outside of the city, in a distance, which means if there is a cemetery, there is a city. The second meaning is that if there is a cemetery, which means that there are people who were alive before, which means the city is near. But the most profound meaning, in my opinion, of this midrash is if there is a cemetery, it means that there are people who were willing to give their lives for something greater than them, for a state, for God, for nation, for peoplehood. And therefore, the city is near. Our own state, the state of Israel, has a cemetery. Unfortunately, a very large cemetery in front of the state. It holds the graves of our finest sons and daughters who gave their lives so we can have a city, we can have a state, we can have a land. The closeness between the cemetery and the city is a symbol of the bond that cannot be broken. There is no state without a cemetery, and there is no cemetery without a state. They are intertwined, bonded together forever, creating an internal bond between Jews all over the globe. Jews here and in Canada, Jews here and in America, Jews here and in South Africa, Jews here and in Australia, Jews here and in every place there are Jews. It makes us one nation with one fate. And yet, even in that connection, there is also a bit of a distance between the cemetery and the state, because life must go on. We must continue building our country, even as we carry in our hearts the price others have paid, and the price we still pay even today. The living, the citizens of Israel, owe their lives to the Noflim, to the fallen soldiers. And we are obligated to fulfill the dreams that they left behind. The Midrash teaches us, if you see troubles covering you, your redemption is near. And now, the third stage, the stage of Abraham. You are a prince of God among us. A new awareness is taking root. The future of the Jewish people lies right here in our homeland. This truth is awakening in the hearts of Jews all over the world. And even other nations of the world are beginning to recognize our strength, our creativity, our innovation, and our resilience. We no longer wait for others to bring us home. We are returning of our own will, settling the land of our ancestors, and seeing the blessings of God in front of our eyes. But with all this growth, we must not forget the covenant of Jacob. And I do not mean the covenant between God and Jacob, but rather the covenant between Jacob and his children. Gather together, and I will tell you. Jacob's final request at the end of Genesis was for his sons to find unity, to discover what binds them together, to resist the voices of division, jealousy, and narrow vision. This is our task. This is what our mission, both on national and spiritual level, to protect the unity of our people, to build shared purpose, to care for one another before all else. Only then we can truly be worthy of the name Israel. כי שרית עם אלוקים ועם אנשים ותוכל. For you have struggled with God and with people and prevailed. The mothers and fathers of generations past, those of the present, and those yet to come, all are part of our story. Those who dreamed of the land and those who live in it now. Those who gave everything and those who carried their legacy forward. We are one people, and we must protect that oneness. Because only through unity can we fulfill our calling. אתה אחד ושמך אחד, ומי כעמך ישראל, גוי אחד בארץ. You are one, your name is one, and who is like your people Israel, one nation in the land. Dear families of fallen soldiers, please rise. I would like you to rise so this holy gathering may see and remember the foundation upon which we stand here in this land of Israel. May God continue to bless you with comfort, with hope, until the day comes when those who sleep in the dust shall rise again, and the prophecy of Yeshaiah, of Isaiah, will be fulfilled. He will swallow up death forever, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from every face. He will remove the disgrace of his people from all earth, for the Lord has spoken. We are like the son who walks together with his father on this long road, turning to his father and asking, where is the city? When the time comes, when God will wipe away every tear and comfort you, our precious families, and comfort all of Israel with true consolation and lasting peace among us and the world, we will know that we have arrived. Thank you.
I just want to add one thing, Rabbi Shai, to your very, very moving and inspiring words. This wall is not a cemetery. This wall is a living testament. But as Rabbi Shai said, it has one connection. It connects us as part of the people of Israel, as part of the state of Israel. This wall may not be a cemetery, but it's our living testament to everything we live for. Thank you, Rav Shai. Very, very good. I now want to invite Ido Cohen for a small musical interlude. Ido? The stage is yours.
שם בהרים שמעל הכפר שלנו יש שם גן של שושן מחר אצא לי השכם בבוקר עם ציוץ הציפורים אביא לאהובי משם פרח משדה האדומים ידע אני שלו והוא שלי לעולמים ירדתי אל מעל הכפר שלנו בשערי השושן אך אהובי לא בבית שקט בין החדרים שם בנהר שמעל הכפר שלנו אהובי בלילה לא חזר מצא לו אהובה אחרת וליבי נשבר אלוקים תעשה שיבוא מחכה ביום ובלילה לא אין לי כוח שעוד יום יבוא שושנים עצובות והוא לא פה שם בהרים שמעל הכפר שלנו יש שם גן של שושן מחר אצא לי השכם בבוקר עם ציוץ הציפורים אביא לאהובי משם פרח משדה האדומים ידע אני שלו והוא שלי לעולמים אלוקים תעשה שיבוא מחכה ביום ובלילה לא אין לי כוח שעוד יום יבוא שושנים עצובות והוא לא פה אלוקים תעשה שיבוא מחכה ביום ובלילה לא אין לי כוח שעוד יום יבוא שושנים עצובות והוא לא פה
Invite Inbal Gilmore Ratz, wife of Eshkodesh Gilmore Zichron Lebracha, and Talia, her daughter, to share their personal stories. The conversation will be moderated by Atar Volkitzhaki, Director of Projects at AACI, and like David, one of the staff people that put this whole event together. You have a mic?
Yeah.
You gonna take it?
Talia and Inbal. I want to start with you, Talia. You, at a very young age, way too young, joined the club that no one wants to be part of, the bereaved family club. Do you mind sharing with us about growing up that way and a little bit about yourself and about your father?
Okay, so I was a year and a half years old when I lost my father. Today I'm 26, and growing up without my father, I didn't get the chance to know him. The father figure I grew up on was mostly based on stories and pictures and things I've heard from the people who knew him. And hearing how much I resemble him in many ways, also physically, but mostly personality-wise, and sharing same values, always made me feel like there's this part of my identity that is still unknown to me.
You grew into it. It was part of who you are and who you grew up to be at the age of 26.
Yeah, so it was a very, unlike my mother, who happened to her one sudden day in her life. For me, it was like a natural experience of life. It was like, it's all I knew. Like, I didn't know a reality where my father is alive.
Thank you. So speaking of your mother, Inbal also many years ago, you joined the family that no one wants to be part of, the family of the bereaved families, and you took it upon yourself to have a lifelong mission to help other families. Could you share a few things about that?
So, like you said, this is a family that nobody wants to be part of, but when it was decided for us, we had to make choices. And I chose Uvacharta b'chaim. I chose life, and I chose to honor Esh Kodesh's wishes to stay close to his family, to be happy, and to continue building a home. And I feel that what he meant is that in the process of pulling myself together and facing the difficult days, I gained abilities, if you want, experience, maybe. I built resilience, and I'm trying to use the knowledge and what I went through, what I experienced raising Talia, to help the families who joined our family. From the minute the war started, I knew what I needed to do. I immediately got into my car and drove to homes of families that some of them didn't even know where their loved ones. I was in that place. I was once looking for information about my husband when no one came to let me know. So what I'm trying to do is to be there for them, support them, guide them, show them that there is hope and there's life. And Talia recently joined my efforts, and she is helping as well.
I want to say thank you. So inspiring and so appreciated that you took it upon yourself to strengthen others in a place of heartbroken where you were in exactly the same position. And I'm sure that this war, this current war and this current ongoing agony is, in a way, it's activating old wounds, and it opens up. So your ability to overcome it is much appreciated, I'm sure, by the bereaved families and appreciated by all of us. And here we are in the Association of Americans and Canadians in Israel, and we honor the fallen who came from North America and fell in Israel, and this complexity between Israelis and Americans, Americans in Israel and world jury supporting Israelis. Would you want to say a few words about that? You have a few thoughts about.
So I'm an Israeli, and Ish Kodesh his parents came from America, New Jersey and Cleveland, and when Ish Kodesh was killed, I all of a sudden found myself with this little baby who, she was speaking only English. And I said to myself, okay, what do I do? Who's gonna speak to her in English? And I had to make a decision. And I chose to speak to her in English because I felt that that would help to maintain the connection, the strong connection with my in-laws. And I think I did a good thing, I think. She has to agree. It was really hard at first, but I think after I was able to read Dr. Seuss and survive, I knew that I can make it. But I think it also gave me another perspective. It gave me an ability to connect with the diaspora, with the American Jewry. And I think it also pushed me to study about the history of American Jewry. That's where we met. And I'm dedicating not only supporting other families, but also connecting diaspora to Israel and connecting Israel to diaspora, which is very, very important and need a lot of work.
Thank you. I'll just end with I hope you'll continue with the connections, and there will be no need for more support of bereaved families. Thank you so much for opening your hearts and joining us. Thank you.
Toda rabba.
Thank you.
I just want to say something to those of us who have sat Shiva, which resonates strongly with me. During the Shiva, you have a lot of well-meaning people that say, time heals everything. And I think that all of the families, and I can tell you myself, it's balderdash. Time does not heal everything, okay? It may dull it, but it's part of us, in and out. It comes in at the Chagim, it comes in on a day like this. So you have to remember, you have to keep aware of what's going on. It doesn't heal everything. And to all of those who've had people fallen for 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years, my heart is with you. I now would like to ask Mr. Yaakov Hagoel, chairman of the WZO, to say the prayer for the state of Israel. Everybody, please rise.
אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ברך את מדינת ישראל ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו, הגן עליה בעברת חסדיך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך. ושלח אורך ואמתך לראשיה, שריה ויועציה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך. חזק את ידי מגני ארץ קודשנו, והנחילם אלוהינו ישועה, ועטרת ניצחון תעטרם. ונתת שלום בארץ ושמחת עולם ליושביה. ואת אחינו כל בית ישראל, פקדנה בכל ארצות פיזוריהם, ותוליכם מהרה קוממיות לציון עירך ולירושלים משכן שמך. ככתוב בתורת משה עבדיך, אם יהיה נדחך בקצה השמיים, משם יקבצך אדוני אלוהיך, משם יקחך. ואביאך אדוני אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר ירשו אבותיך וירשת, ויטיבך ויראתך מאותיך. ויחד לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך ולשמור את כל דברי תורתך. ושלח לנו מהרה בן דוד משיח צדקך, לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתך. הופע בהדר גאון עוזך על כל יושבי תבל ארצך, ויאמר כל אשר נשמה באפו, אדוני אלוהי ישראל מלך ומלכותו בכל משלה, אמן סלע.
Thank you. I now invite Eli Knoller, father of Nadav Elchanan Knoller, Zichron Lebracha, to lead us in the prayer for the soldiers.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא הגנה לישראל, עומדים על משמר ארצנו וערי אלוהינו, מהלבנון ויד מדבר מצרים, ומן הים הגדול עד לבוא ערבה, ביבשה, באוויר ובים. ייתן אדוני את אויבינו הקמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה ומכל וצוקה ומכל נגע מחלה. וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם. ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויעטרם בחטא ישועה ובעטרת ניצחון. ויקוים בהם הכתוב, כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם להילחם לכם עם אויביכם, להושיע אתכם, ונאמר אמן.
I now want to invite Ido Cohen, who's provided the musical accompaniment, to lead us in the prayer for the hostages. As mentioned, we are still working on that.
אחינו כל בית ישראל, אחינו כל בית ישראל, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. אחינו כל בית ישראל, אחינו כל בית ישראל, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. המקום ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה ומאפלה לאורה ומשעבוד לגאולה שתה בגלה ובזמן קריב. המקום ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה ומאפלה לאורה ומשעבוד לגאולה שתה בגלה ובזמן קריב.
Sit. We're very much near the end. At the start of our ceremony, we distributed candles, a flicker of light and a symbol of remembrance for the lives we honor today. I invite you now to turn on your candles. We are in a forest and we're cognizant, representing the lives and lasting contributions of those memorialized on this wall and of all Israelis who fell. May their legacy continue to inspire us. As you look around, each candle you see represents a life filled with love, hope, and cherished moments. These small flames illuminate the profound impact of those we've lost. Let us not only remember, but be moved to recognize the depth of their sacrifice for our homeland and the Jewish people. Before you leave, I ask you, please place your candle by the memorial wall as a sign of respect and solidarity. Take a moment to honor those whose names are etched here and whose memories live on in our hearts. Remember what Ambassador Huckabee said, please God, next year we have no more names to add. At home, we invite you, as we've mentioned, to visit the AACI Remembrance organization. To close, let us please rise together and sing Hatikva, the anthem of hope and resilience. Thank you once more for joining us in paying tribute to those who gave their lives to Israel.
אותם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים.
Once more, many, many thanks. We invite all of the attendees to now come up and view the AACI Memorial Wall. Once more, on behalf of AACI, thank you, all of our guests who came here.